Hi, everybody. My name is John DePietro.
And I'm Bob Zagami with the Camper Report Show.
And on this Camper Report Show, Bob, I have a very interesting interview with the benefits of belonging to a group of campers, a group of people who have the same RV. Either way, it's Facebook groups, and we're going to talk all about it today.
Great. I've got an interview with Keith and Raini Harris, who are part of the Grand Design Impact Program, but they're full-timers that do good in the community.
There we go. Those stories, plus the news of the day. Where do we get our news?
RV Business and Woodall's Campground Magazine.
We'll be back right after this. Hey, everybody, welcome back to the news segment here on the Camper Report Show. My name is John DePietro. His name is Bob Zagami. And Bob, we've got some interesting news coming to us from our friends at KOA. It looks like there's no slowdown, or at least last 2 years, there was no slowdown in the number of people camping. Talk about their report.
Yeah, they issued their monthly marketing report that shows that in 2022, 1.5 million more households camped than in 2021. That's households. So if you figure 2 adults and even one child, that's 4 or 5 million more people that were out there camping in 2022 as the industry showed a nice rebound.
You know, you beat me to the punch on that, because that term households, there's really no definitive number you can put on it. I'm sure there might be statistics that say, 2.1 kids or
right,
et cetera. But then again, if you bring your kids, they might be bringing their friends along too. So, when you say 1.5 million, I'm going to round that off to saying that's 6 million more people that camped. And you know what? That's a significant number. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with that number, because we know that there's occupancy issues with campgrounds. It's freeing up a little bit, but a lot of people had trouble. You just have to look a little bit harder.
Yep.
The campgrounds have availability. You have to search a little bit harder. Go get up early in the morning to get your reservations. Make them further in advance than what you might normally do. I mean, this is the time of year that knowledgeable campers are on the phone in January, February, and March,
right,
making their reservations.
right.
Planning
Especially
it out.
if it's for the national parks. I mean, you got to reserve those 12 to 18 months in advance. And I know when there are certain dates coming up that are red letter dates, there are people that stay up all night in order to be the first one on that phone at midnight 01 to get that cherished campsite.
One of the other couple of other numbers that they had in the report: 74% of the campers in 2022 plan to continue camping in the future. That's 3 out of every 4 campers that is in love with the lifestyle and is going to camp more.
That number is very significant, Bob. I'm sure you'd agree, because of the fact that a few years ago, when the first RV wave came along in 2020, during the beginning of COVID, there were naysayers out there saying, oh, there's going to be tons of leftover campers to sail next year because people are going to try it once and for whatever reason not like it. Either it wasn't for them, or it was too small, it was too big, it was too expensive, they don't like sleeping. Whatever the reason was, or should I say the proposed excuse was, it never existed. In fact, the exact opposite took place. And that North American Camping Report that our friend Scott Bair puts out with KOA seems to indicate that in the last few years that more and more people are liking camping than ever before and trying it and bringing their friends along too.
Yep, and it says 6 in 10 campers say that they used camping to improve their mental health. And I think we can all agree with that. It's a different mindset when you go over the bridge to Cape Cod, or you go over the Chesapeake Bay Bridge Tunnel. When you get close to your destination, a different mindset comes about, and you understand why you're going and the need to have relaxation, and it's going to be there. It's almost a given that if you hop on the RV or the trailer, that it's wherever you are, it's going to be better wherever you get to.
Yeah, and interestingly, I was looking at a statistic right here. The same 60% that said they felt relaxed at camping, those are the same 60% of people that had somebody else empty their black tank for the first time.
Yeah, when you find that person, DePietro, let us know.
Let us know.
Let
And you know what,
us
Bob?
know.
Moving right along in the
They
world
would
of
be in demand, right?
moving right along in the world of camping news, for those that want to go camping but not necessarily go to a campground, our friends at Winnebago have come out with a brand new product that allows people to, I don't know, how do you say this the right way? Use their van for work during the day and then convert it at the start of the weekend into a camper. And then when the weekend's over, convert it back to a work van. That's pretty unique. Can you fill me in the blanks on that?
Yeah, it's kind of interesting because there's been a wave of people, usually young adults, that have bought bare bone vans, stripped out vans, whether it be a Mercedes or a Ram or a Ford Transit. And then they outfit them, much like they did years ago with the Volkswagen Westphalia and stuff, where they build it out. They do, maybe they do homemade furniture or whatever. Well, there's a company out in California called Adventure Wagon, and they right now they themselves do customized Mercedes-Benz vans, but they make a series of modular components, beds, cabinets, sinks, chairs, everything that you might want in a van, and it's
Except the
modular.
kitchen sink.
Yeah, no, they got the kitchen sink too, on top of the cabinet,
That's
and
true.
they do that.
That's true.
And there's rails going down the interior of the van, but they've taken it a step further because they've given you a multi-purpose van, as you mentioned. Tradespeople are buying them to do their work during the day. Now, the kids that are building out their own vans, they're building it out to be a van, and it's always a van. This is a multi-function unit that you can use during the day for carpentry or plumbing or electricians. But at the weekends, you pull those components out and you put other components in. That might be 2 extra chairs to bring the kids along. It may be a different type of a bed or a storage cabinet or the kitchen components. It's a very interesting feature, and it's going to be a van available through Winnebago. So it gives Adventure Wagon more demand for their components. So they're going to sell the components to Winnebago, who will outfit the van.
Yep.
I think it's going to be pretty popular in
Yep.
terms
Yep.
of how they use it.
And stay tuned here on the Camp Report Show, because we did a full feature with that adventure van and show how easy it is to convert from a work van to the reality of it's an adventure van. And
Well, one of the things they did at the show, at the Florida Super Show, was they had two adventure wagons. Overnight, they switched the interiors of the two units. So if you came back the next day and you went to look at it, you would be a little bit disoriented because it had a different type of an interior.
Yep.
And they did that to show the people that they changed out the whole.
How easy
in 15 or 20 minutes, they changed out the entire configuration of one van and put the components into the other van. So it got a lot of attention. It was a different type of unit.
Exactly. It was cool. I remember the one that we looked at was a 4-wheel drive unit.
Yep.
Now, one of the things that you may want to consider is if, again, you don't want a campground, but you have that adventure wagon and want to head out, you may want to stop for the night on the way to your destination at a Harvest Host. And our friends at Harvest Host have come up with a very new program, and it's called the Camper Card. And tell us about what our friend Joel has come up with the Camper Card.
Well, the grass doesn't grow too long under Joel's feet, because it seems like every year he comes up with a different twist to improve the corporation itself. So you got Harvest Host, you got Boondockers Welcome. Now he's come up with the Campers Card, and it has different benefits for nightly discounts, early check-in, late checkout, free firewood, site upgrades, and more. And it combines a lot of the things that you would have in a campground with what you can get at some Harvest Host locations. So he's leaning over into that camping community, and especially making it true for small businesses, aiding the small business. Campers Card is another way to do that. It's going to be available in the spring.
Yep.
And with the statistics saying that 67 million people are going to go camping, go RVing this year, it's a completely free card to campgrounds. And it goes to the camp. There is no annual fee or commission structure to list an RV campground on the platform. So in addition to boondocking sites out in the middle of nowhere where you don't have anybody around you, to harvest host locations, then you will also have campgrounds listed in the network, and you can have that platform, which is going to be unique for Harvest Host members. So he feels that the program will initially be promoted to Harvest Host list of 800,000 RVers, giving it huge momentum at launch. So he's taken this thing up to 800,000 people, and he continues to add benefits for them. So there's no downside to a Harvest Host membership.
None whatsoever. So that is our new segment. Look, we talked about KOA, traditional camping. We talked about Adventure Wagon, which is a little less traditional. And we talked about Harvest Host, which is really a hybrid between the campground and a place to stay with amenities, not necessarily hookups, but with amenities and lots of things to do. So with that being said, this is what, Bob?
The Camper Report Show.
Stay with us, everyone.
Mike here from RV Blogger. Don't waste hundreds of dollars on an external GPS for your RV. All you need to do is download the RV Life app right onto your phone. This app is so cool. It has RV GPS built right into it. So you can load all the specific measurements and weights for your RV. It'll give you directions safe for your RV to follow. And by the way, if you have RV Trip Wizard, directions for your trips upload into this GPS automatically.
All right, we're here at the Camper Report Show, and I'm with Raini and Keith Harris. And you guys are part of something really exciting at Grand Design.
Yes, we are.
And you travel in a full-time?
Yes, we do.
Grand Design Solitude.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about your background before you got onto the Impact team.
Oh, sure. Sure, yeah. So we've been RVing now full-time for 3 years, just about. And we are in
So
one
right
of
after you got out of high school?
What a compliment.
Thank you. Yes.
Gentleman.
A gentleman and a scholar. Yeah, so we've been in our Grand Design for 2 years. We were in a Keystone RV before that, and we had a flood that happened, and it totaled our RV. But now we are in our Grand Design, and we've been in it for 2 years, and we love it. We have been traveling full-time. And while we've been traveling, what we really wanted to do was we were meeting people and seeing that in the community, there was so much giving back and people really wanting to make an impact out there. So what we discovered was people wanted to give back, but there was no really way to do that for them. So we created volunteer events as we were traveling, and we just did it on our own, right? And Grand Design picked up on it one time when we were going to do it.
Give us an example of what we're doing.
Sure. So we've done a couple of different things. We go to food banks. We've cleaned up at national parks. We have, what else have we done recently?
So we've done community kitchen, where we served in community kitchen, and we've done packing, like food collection and packing at one of the Grand Design rallies. So just kind of various things depending. Oh, we've also done the kennel at the Humane Society in, which one was it? Nashville,
Tennessee.
For the Nashville Humane Society. So we went and made paper mache toys for all the dogs and everything. So really it's, what we do is we find a place that we would like to do something and just find an organization and work with them and get something set up, and then invite people to come out and just have a good time. And what we've really found is everybody likes to get together, but there's always that uncomfortable first few moments of what do we do? But when you're together, you're doing something, and you're doing something that has purpose and meaning, that just general flow of conversation just happens.
Well, we have a lot of fans out there who'll be watching this. How do people get involved and stuff like that? People sometimes are shy about doing it, and how do you grab other RVers? Because I know you focus on RVers themselves and
Correct.
bring more into the mix. How do you do that?
Correct. So we're pretty big as far as as far as you can be on Instagram and YouTube, and that's how we have made connections with people. But also with the new Impact team, there's ways to get involved through that, and we do a lot with rallies with Grand Design. So when you go there, we'll be setting them up.
The easiest way is on Instagram, at Keith and Raini.
Right,
So it's
right.
KEITHAND and then RAINI. So Keith and Raini. The easiest way is just to follow us as we put them on as we go around. I'm an insurance adjuster, so my work is really unpredictable. And so when we go to certain areas, then we try to plan something accordingly. So they're usually not too far out. And they can be pretty spontaneous.
So are you more likely, with that kind of a job, are you more likely to be in one place for a longer period of time?
At times.
Yeah.
For example, so we are going back down to Fort Myers. We've been in Fort Myers since the hurricane hit back in September. So we've been there for quite some time. And so what we did was we actually partnered with Habitat for Humanity next week, and we're doing our first rebuild rally. And it'll be a boondocking rally that we're going to have about 30 people are coming, and we will all be serving with Habitat for Humanity for a couple of days. And just being able to spend the day working there, and then in the evening is our time to get together and have fun and be together and get to know each other more and have a good time.
Are you going to be on Fort Myers Beach or in Fort Myers in general?
It'll be Fort Myers proper.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
the devastation was just unbelievable.
Absolutely. And I've been experiencing it firsthand, and it was something that really was heavy on our hearts.
Yeah.
After we got there, Grand Design had was that November? They
Yes.
had a rally up in Florida Georgia line, and we popped up there real quick, and we just last minute decided, hey, let's get supplies for Pine Island, which is one of the hard hit areas.
That got hit really bad.
Really hard.
Yep.
And so we got with the American Legion there, and they gave us a list of things that we needed. Our original plan was just to go up with our fifth wheel, collect some supplies, put them back in our fifth wheel, and bring them back. Well, we had so much stuff from everyone there that we had to rent a U-Haul, and we brought an entire U-Haul back to Pine Island and donated it all to the American Legion there.
So let's switch gears a little bit and talk about the new Grand Design Impact team. You're a member of that team.
Correct.
What is the purpose of the team, and what's your role going to be?
So the purpose of the team is really, it's more of a community-driven team, and it's more about bringing people together within the community, doing good within communities, and making an impact on others. So there are several different people with different purposes. Ourselves, what we really focus on is volunteering, getting together. The Honor Network is another member of that team, and the Honor Network is more focused on first responders, veterans, and honoring those who have fallen.
Yep.
And so we definitely have different missions based on the different people, but I think that's what makes it great is there's different purposes, so we can spread out even more, and we're not just serving one specific thing.
That's fantastic. So how do you like your Grand Design products?
Oh, we love it. We love the Grand Design.
It's the original one.
It is
so
the original
it's
one.
Number 176 off the line. So it is 10 years old this year.
It is.
You are
It
really
is.
veteran. You're going to have a special party?
We might.
Come on
I
over.
think
You're
this calls for a
invited.
party. Thank you, Raini. I think that's a hell of an idea.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do that.
Yeah, no, it's great. It's perfect RV.
All right. We've been with Keith and Raini Harris, and I appreciate you coming on
Absolutely.
today.
Thank you.
And
Thank
we'll
you for
spread the
having us.
word for you. And if people want to get a hold of you, give that your Instagram and your information where people can get you.
So we do have a website, keithandrainey.com. Also YouTube is Keith and Rainey, and then Instagram and Facebook, Keith and Rainey as well. So we keep it straight
Correct.
across the board.
Straight across the board. Yep.
And it's RAINI.
Correct. That's it. Yep.
Thanks
Yep.
very much, guys.
Thank you.
All right,
Good
thank
luck.
you.
Yeah,
Great to see you.
absolutely. Great to see you.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Camper Report Show. My name is John DePietro, and one of the things, folks, that you learn in the RV lifestyle is that you're never really alone when you're RVing. And one of the greatest ways to find out more about your particular RV or RVing in general is to join a group And usually today, most of the groups are on Facebook. And I want to bring you in touch with a gentleman who I met just about a year ago. We share something in that we both have the exact same unit. We both have vintage 2008s Navions by Itasca at the time, which are Winnebago products. Everybody say hello to Bob Kelly from somewhere in New Jersey. What's that town, Bob?
Denville, right
Denville,
near
New Jersey.
287 and 80.
There we go, Denville, New Jersey. So, Bob, tell us a little bit about your background, how long you've been RVing, and why you participate in an RV group that shares info about traveling, about fixing your unit, about making mods to it. Just give me the 30-second elevator pitch, Bob.
30-second elevator pitch. So I graduated from college. My college roommate and I converted a 1969 Dodge van. He had a puppy, and we went cross country right after we graduated from school and came back that December before either of us had a responsible job. I, subsequent to that, got involved in backpacking, owned a backpacking shop. Subsequent to that, had friends that had boats. Best type of relationship is a friend with a boat. Spent a lot of time on a boat, and otherwise just did some car camping with the family. And after I retired, I realized that having an RV was the best place to see the national parks, because it was getting increasingly difficult to make reservations in the hotels and the cabins, and they were getting very expensive. So my wife and I were down in Florida at the Bahia Honda State Park. And lo and behold, who's next to me but a fellow by the name of Kent Gardam, who also moderates the View Navion Motorhomes Facebook group. And he looked at me, I looked at him. I had solar on my RV, which was pretty early to have solar. He did too. He asked me if I was on Facebook. I said yes. He said, there's a group that I think you'd be interested in. I joined the group, found out there was a rally. My life changed. It was absolutely amazing. I did renovation and repair as a sideline during my career, so I was familiar with putting things together. I break things pretty good too, so I'm also familiar with putting them together after I break them. And it was just a wonderful, warm, engaging, inviting community.
Okay. Now, very interesting aspect of it. Just about a year ago, I am a member of the same group, and we'll put the name of the group down below here. It's the View Navion group. It's
okay.
Prior to what, the 08 to 010 or 08 to 10 pre-def.
Yes,
group,
there's a number of groups.
There's and I asked a question about updating my television, because when you get a unit that is already 15 years old, the technology, especially for video, has changed drastically. And not only did you respond immediately and said, okay, this is what you need to do. And once you told me what to do, and I looked at it and said, I have no idea what he's talking about. I said, can you walk me through it? He said, look, I'll do it for you. I said, well, I got to pay you. And you said, no. Now, we did go to a diner. We did.
Yes, we did.
So I drove from Massachusetts down in New Jersey to a total stranger, and you put a new TV in for me. But not only have you done that for me, but I see you share information with other owners of that same unit that's right behind. Now we've removed those 4 screws and neatly kept them so we know where they are when they're done. And you said there's a trick to that, Bob, that
Yeah, after you take all the screws out,
okay,
make sure you hold on to the television,
okay,
because it'll just pop out.
Now, did you do yours solo, or did you have some assistance?
I did mine all by myself.
Okay, but certainly recommended to have an intelligent
More
person
hands,
like me.
yes, absolutely. So if you take a look back here, there's a power connection
That right there?
right in there.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the 12-volt power connection for the television. So we're going to disconnect that.
Okay.
So we can get it
we're
out.
going to disconnect that just by
Unplug.
Why do you do that, Bob?
Well, it's the right. First of all, it's the right thing to do. It's a community, and the fellow that put me in a situation so I was camped next to Kent Garden, a guy by the name of John Arrington from Painted Post, New York.
Painted Post up in
Changed my
Corning.
life.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. Changed my life. And I said, John, what can I do for you? And he said, pass it on.
Pass
Best,
it.
best, pass it on. Best advice I've ever gotten. And, you give, you get. So here we are pretty much at the end of the project. It was very simple. We plugged in all the wires, moved the mount, put the screws on underneath. We had a piece of wire just because, a piece of wood to fill in the blank spot. I'm sure John will think of something that is spectacular to put in its place. It works pretty swell. The coach came equipped with a on-off switch for the television. Since we went into the original wiring, you turn the TV on, it turns the inverter on, which in turn turns the television on. And then we use the entertainment center to pipe the sound through the coach. So fully smart TV. We currently have it tuned into a hotspot on John's iPhone. Takes a little while to warm up. Nice part about this particular television is it does over the air. It'll run off the entertainment center, and it'll run through the internet. So because it's a smart TV, and it's just worked out. I was in law enforcement for 26 years. I taught school for another bunch of years, and I was a civilian employee at a police dispatch center and then working for a municipality. A lot of people think police go out and just bother people and lock them up. I had a great chief of police. He believed in community service. Yep. And we went on every medical call that the town had for the entire time I was on the department. So, it was all about community service. So I guess it's just in my DNA at this point.
It just stays with it. Now, very interesting.
Yes, absolutely.
We were supposed to do this video earlier, but then you got sick and now you're all better and all that other stuff. But right now, as we speak, I'm in frigid Massachusetts. You are in warm Biloxi, Mississippi. And with other members of the group, tell us what you're doing right now. Where are you on your way?
Well, we're supposed to be talking about the benefits of being in an RV group. And one of the benefits of being in the RV group we have is that we can dispense information. The information we dispense is curated. We're very particular about making sure that all the information is accurate. And we also like to take really good care of all our members. So I was traveling from New Jersey down to Florida, and then from Florida across the Gulf Coast because it's the best way to miss cold weather, salt, rain, snow, ice.
Yep.
So I was like, okay. And we have a number of women who travel alone in the group. And I was the beneficiary of friends helping me when I got into a jam this last summer on the way out to GNR. And they took really good care of me. Okay. And there's
the Winnebago rally. Yeah.
Yes, the Grand National Rally at Winnebago.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you, there's nothing more satisfying for your family and yourself to know that if something really goes sideways, there's help right there and not 1,000 miles away. So I posted the route. I made sure that the places I was staying had, at that time, availability for a number of people. I posted it. None of the spots are more than 300 miles apart. Since any trip has got to be fun, there was a bunch of locations that we were going to visit. There was activities, things we were going to do, places we were going to go, barbecue we were going to eat, sites we we're going to see, and miles we were going to travel. And the nice part is in the same campground I'm in right now are two ladies that travel by themselves, and tomorrow we'll hook up with a pair of couples down in New Orleans and tour the city.
So you'll head to New Orleans, and then ultimately you're heading out to the West Coast to the big Q.
Yeah, we're going out to Quartzsite. So we'll be there on the weekend. I think it's the 14th. Let's see. We have. I like to eat, as you can tell from when we went out to the diner. It was a big hit with you. So we have New Orleans food. We've got Cajun food in Lake Charles. We've got seafood in Galveston. We've got barbecue near Brazos Bend. We've got more German food and barbecue up in Fredericksburg. We'll probably take a side trip to have a little sip of beer at Luckenbach, Texas. We'll go out to Fort Stockton. We'll go through Las Cruces and pick up some Mexican food. And then we'll wind up in Quartzsite,
Arizona. So what would you say to RVers that two groups of RVers in the last 2 years, there've been 500,000 RVs sold to first-time RV owners that might not be familiar with solar, that might not be familiar with any of the technical aspects of it. And there might be lots of RVers that, don't necessarily want to do a group thing like you're doing, but need to be tuned into a network that can help them with their RV if they break down or if they have health issues or anything along those lines. How important is it to be part of a group?
Really important. I think it's really, really important. To give you an idea, one of the two ladies that's in the campground here tonight, Laura, came down from Michigan, and she's brand new. She's never RV'd before. She bought her RV 8 months ago, 6 months ago.
Yep.
She's very diligent. She's read the whole manual several times, and she had an issue.
Worst thing to do.
And excuse me?
Worst thing.
Yeah, well, we say things, but this is for public description, so we can't go there.
Right.
But she had a question because she really couldn't extract the information that she wanted from the manual. So she went on to the Facebook group that we moderate, and she made a request, and she said she was absolutely enthralled. I saw she talked about this tonight. She lit up like a one of those spotlights.
You feel
because
like
she got her answer within
right.
She got her answer within 5 minutes, and it was right.
And I've had that happen so many times where I'm on a trip and something happens. And my wife says, "What are you going to do?" I said, "Go online to the group." And
absolutely,
and it's usually like a breaker switch or your battery hookup or anything along those lines. But the benefit that you get of being with a group is so beneficial. So I want to say through you, Bob Kelly, thank you so much for being here, and to let everybody know that regardless of the type of unit that you own, whether it's towable, whether it's drivable, whether it's a class A, B, C, whether it's a fifth wheel or a certain brand or whatever, there is a group of people that have the same type of unit with you and can share their expertise, what to do, what not to do, what's fun to do, where not to go, or that type thing. And we want to thank you so much for sharing your expertise. I want to thank you for putting that new TV in because it's absolutely great, and wish you the best in your travels to Quartzsite.
You're very welcome. Thank you very much.
Okay, everybody. This is the Camper Report Show. Stay with us. We'll be back.